right, a final question. Do researchers access the archaeological collection to study the objects? Absolutely. We have had several examples of researchers coming to collections for study over the years, and there's a few in the recent past which are pretty interesting, and so I'll mention those here. There's a local professor who's been very interested in the Mississippian collection over the years. And a couple years ago, he was conducting research on Missouri rock art and the solar eclipse. He was basically looking for examples of archaeological materials depicting the sun in different forms. And so he examined the Science Center's collection for pottery objects, stone objects, and shell engraved objects that all showed the sun in some way. He also wanted to study our collection of petroglyph molds from Washington State Park here in Missouri. Molds of the petroglyph rock art was taken in the 1970s, and this helped to preserve the images of the rock art, and which unfortunately have deteriorated over time. So the research that the professor was doing was published in an article of the Missouri Archaeological Society Quarterly. And it was really interesting read, and it's great to see the Science Center objects represented in studies like that. Additionally, the same professor reached out to me recently and would like to come back to collections. He's working on another project which would use a portable XRF machine, a tool that analyzes different pigments, to compare the mineral composition of prehistoric Indian paint with the pigment on Mississippian pottery and other painted artifacts. And this includes the red, white, and black pigments. He asked to examine and analyze our collection of pottery for this study. And so it'll be interesting to see what develops from this research and how we can use it to further our understanding of these wonderful objects. Another example is for our Robert McCormick Adams collection. We had a researching PhD student from California come out to study this collection. She was interested in examining the archaeological artifacts and to see what information they could provide about excavations in Jefferson County. And she also compared the Science Center's collection of archaeological material from Adams excavations to those holdings of Adams material at the Illinois State Museum that are also from the excavation. The information she gathered eventually became part of a published thesis work on pottery types found at particular sites. And, what was really exciting for her and for us was that, we have boxes of Adams' handwritten field notes, as well as hand-drawn maps and original photographs that were taken during the excavations. And we've got publications of his findings as well as microfilm. So she didn't know those existed and got really excited when she had the opportunity to study those. And the materials ended up being beneficial for her study since Adams, meticulously documented the various pottery type examples and where they were found. Finally, another example comes from just 2 years ago, actually last year. A researcher from Wisconsin working to compile a master database of all the copper artifacts found in the Americas came to examine what we have here at the Science Center. She has been visiting museums for years from Canada all the way down into northern South America in order to document as many copper artifacts as she can find. And as a result of this work, she discovered evidence of possible copper trade route from Wisconsin to Washington State, which had previously been unknown. She, in fact, used a few of the copper artifacts from our collection in this paper, and some of our artifacts help to provide evidence that she cited in the paper. So that's really exciting for us as well. So it's neat to see the collection be used in this way, and everything that we learn from these researchers and from experts helps us understand better about these objects and help us better tell that story. So that's a wonderful question also.